For thousands of years, farming has been all about getting your hands in the dirt. But that's all changing. We're now looking at our fields from space, and it's completely rewriting the rules of how we grow our food. So today, let's break down this incredible new science of farming.
Okay, so here's our game plan. We'll kick things off with the big challenges farmers are up against today. Then we'll get that view from above and see what satellites bring to the table. After that, we'll dive into how to decode that digital data, turn it into action, and finally, look at the huge impact this is all having. So let's start right at the beginning. You have to imagine modern farming as this giant, living puzzle. And it's a puzzle that's different every single day, whether you're managing 10 acres or 10,000. It is incredibly complex. And that really brings us to the core question that every single farmer has to grapple with. How in the world do you keep tabs on everything? How do you know that one corner of your field is thirsty while another might need more nutrients, all without having to walk or drive every single inch of it every single day? Well, this is where the game completely changes. The solution, believe it or not, is to add a satellite to your toolbox. These new precision agriculture platforms are giving farmers something they've never had before: a constant, watchful eye in the sky. And you might think this is super complicated, but getting your field online is unbelievably simple. A farmer literally just signs up for a service, draws the outline of their field on a map, or uploads a file, and boom. Instantly, they have access to years of historical data plus a fresh stream of new satellite images. It's that easy. And the power behind this whole thing comes from satellites like the Sentinel-2. We're talking about getting a brand new picture of your entire farm every 2 to 5 days with a resolution of 10 meters. Now, that is the absolute sweet spot. It's detailed enough to give you really precise insights, but still broad enough to see the big picture of your entire operation. Okay, so you have these pictures from space. That's cool. But how do you go from a pretty picture to actual useful intelligence? I mean, a picture is just a picture, right? Understanding what it means, well, that's where the real magic happens. The secret is something called a vegetation index. You can just think of it as a special kind of translator. It's the language the satellite uses to tell you what's happening on the ground. Because healthy plants and stress plants reflect light in totally different ways, especially in wavelengths our human eyes can't see. These indices measure that difference and turn it into data. And what's really cool is that it's not a one-size-fits-all kind of deal. You've got a whole toolbox of these indices. You've got NDVI for a general health checkup. You've got MSAVI, which is perfect for when the plants are just starting to sprout. There's NDRE for checking on nitrogen levels later in the season, and even NDMI to see if your crops are getting enough water. There's a right tool for every job. Let's just zoom in on the main one, MDVI. It's really the workhorse of all this. To put it simply, a really happy, healthy plant is busy absorbing red light for photosynthesis, and at the same time, it's reflecting a ton of near-infrared light. NDVI just measures that difference and gives you a simple, clear score for how healthy that plant is. But look, healthy plants are only part of the story, right? These platforms also pull in a ton of powerful weather analytics. You get your 14-day forecast, sure, but what's really crucial is that you also get historical data on things like rainfall and temperature. Having all that context helps farmers make way smarter decisions about everything, from irrigation to when it's the perfect time to harvest. All right, so this is where it all comes together. This is the moment we turn that mountain of data into real-world, money-saving, yield-boosting actions out in the field. This is the whole point of digital farming. And at its heart, the value proposition is just pure efficiency. Think about it. Instead of spending hours and burning fuel just driving around to see if anything's wrong, the tool points you directly to the problem areas. That saves an incredible amount of time and money. So check out this modern workflow. You're looking at your map and you spot a little red zone, an area that's not doing so well. Right from your phone, you assign a task to your scout. They go directly to that exact spot. No guesswork. They take a look, snap some photos, add notes, and upload it all. And here's the best part. The app works offline, so even if they're in a total dead zone, the data gets saved and syncs up the second they're back online. It's targeted, it's efficient, and everything is perfectly documented. This data also powers some incredibly smart fertilization. Farmers can now create two very different kinds of application maps. On one hand, you have a vegetation map. That's based on a single, recent image, and it's perfect for applying something like nitrogen that your crops need right now. But on the other hand, for more stable, long-term nutrients, you create a productivity map. This looks at years of data to find the zones that consistently perform well or poorly. This means you put fertilizer exactly where it's needed, saving an absolute fortune and being much better for the soil. So, after all the satellites and the data and the apps, what does it all add up to? What's the bottom line? Let's talk about the real-world benefits for the folks on the ground. And the benefits are so tangible. You're saving serious money on things like fertilizer and seeds. You're improving your overall yield because you can catch problems before they get out of hand. You're managing risk with better weather predictions. Plus, you have more control over your team and a perfect digital record of everything that happens on your farm. It's a huge shift from farming by guesswork to farming with precision. And, the impact actually ripples out across the entire agricultural world. It's not just for farmers. Think about it. Insurers can now use this historical data to accurately verify crop loss claims. Big agribusinesses can manage operations across thousands of acres from a single dashboard. This shared, trusted data just creates a whole new level of transparency and efficiency for everybody. So we'll end on this thought right here. We've gone from farming based on gut feelings and tradition to farming with a direct line to outer space. When every single farm has the ability to learn and adapt based on real-time data from a satellite, it just opens up this massive question. What does this mean for the future of our food? It's a profound shift. And honestly, we're just scratching the surface of what's possible.